All right, we are back. We are gonna do a Buddha head sculpture, okay? And we're gonna do this in walnut. We have this, I believe it's 2 by 5 inches. Probably should check that. I have not done a Buddha head. It seems like a really good project in this dark walnut. The walnut, like, I don't know if you guys saw the bear video that worked out. If you like a lot of the spirits that we do, like the faces, they're not going to take like you can't really see what's going on with the face. It looks like muddy, right? So like more abstract and like smooth, simple shapes work better for the walnut, and then it looks really nice. So this is just the shape that I have, right? The size. So we're going to design it from this, okay? And I've looked at a bunch of Buddha sculptures. He changes very much. We're not doing like the heavy Buddha. We're doing kind of the traditional. The heavy, happy Buddha has gotten very popularized in American Western culture. We're going to do a corner face. So the Buddha head is like, it's an old design. So there's not as much like 3D and perspective stuff, but it's evolved over time because people spent so much time working on them. You know, they make it better, and then you know the shapes become idealized and all this. So it's an interesting mix. But anyway, we're not going to be using the corner like for a big old nose. Really, the biggest thing on the sides or whatever, on the most outreaching thing are going to be his ears, okay? Because this is main staple of Buddha, right? Is that he's got to have some big old ears and sometimes there's stuff in his ears, sometimes they're hollow, but you need those earlobes sticking out. That's what you need on there. And so we're going to use that corner there to get that out. I'm gonna do a little from the top here. Okay, so his face is gonna be this way, like the corner faces usually are. The nose will be this way, except it's only gonna be like that size, right? We're not gonna use a whole lot. But then his ears are gonna be like this, something like that sticking out. So the other thing we're gonna look at. The shape of his head is pretty much like it looks like a Lego head, right? Like the characters from the Lego toys. It's like a cylinder, basically. What do they look like? Like this, the thing on top of their head. It basically looks like that in most of the sculptures, and it looks nice. You know, they get it to work out. I'm hoping this works. Okay, the other main thing. He's not going to be smiling. We're not doing a happy Lego Buddha. Okay, so he has this like headdress / hair thing going on. And sometimes it has a little thing on top. And then this is usually decorated with some sort of grid fashion, right? Sometimes it's little swirly Q things, a bunch of those everywhere. Sometimes people describe it with little tiles, and sometimes those have dots in them, a bunch of those. Sometimes they're just circles. This is going to be really small, right? It's walnut, it's going to take detail well, but we'll see how it goes. I'll try to get this done as soon as possible. I mean, not as soon as possible, but so you guys can watch as much of it without it being 3 hours long. So this is going to be the basic design. Is we're going to leave a base, all right, because this is too long for how wide it is, and it'll be a nice contrast. We'll just leave that raw, don't touch that wood at all, and then we'll round that up into a head, and then he'll have his head here. And you'll notice that this size, because this is the side here, if we could get, if I could draw like how large this is, let's see, actually we can figure out right here. You guys can't see that. Okay. If we go from there to there, this is how wide it is from the corner. Okay, it's from here to here. The corner's about there. So this head will fit in there, right? And so there'll be like that much extra space on these corners, and that's where those ears are going to be. This is why the corner still is going to work good for us. It'll get us the biggest sculpture as possible. And then we'll have the top going to his head there. Now that I look at this, because I haven't sketched it before, I usually do something in preparation, or I've carved the thing before I do a video. I feel like it needs more than that, so we're going to bring it down to like here, and that'll give him more of a headdress or a hair. It kind of just, it looks like a bun, like a man bun. That's what it looks like. Okay. And then it's probably too happy. His eyebrows usually have this type of thing going on. Sometimes these lines go down into the nose, and then it's like a very simple thing going on. He's kind of baby-faced. There's a little bit of shape here. So I already made him look a little bit too like young and whatnot. So we're gonna really, when we're carving it, we're gonna go for the Lego shape, right? And then figure it out from there. Maybe just give him a tiny bit. But this will look different when it's getting carved. Okay. So let's get to it. Just needed to be cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be good. We'll do a little test here. All right, it's looking good. Oh crap. Good thing that slid out. I almost ruined a little base there.
I should have been for me. Allowed to have people talk for me.
So you can see he's real glossy because I'm spraying them with some alcohol and water mixture. Make it a little easier to carve. It definitely helps. And we're going to want to bring his face in a little bit because this needs to be out. So the story of the Buddha, which was an actual person, we think he was. Nobody wrote about Buddha until a few hundred years after his death. But the guy's name was Siddhartha, sometimes pronounced Siddhartha, sometimes Siddhartha. I remember reading the book when I was younger. Siddhartha. And see the light going out. So yeah, the story of Siddhartha was that he was born. There was he was basically a prince. I think that the lands weren't united. There's somewhat of like tribes, maybe more sophisticated than tribes, and his father wanted a successor. The light keeps going down. His father wanted a successor. His mother dies about a week after he's born, and before he's born, the mother has a dream about having a kid, and then right after he's born, they go to basically a fortune teller. There's a prophet kind of. So there's a prophecy of Siddhartha turning into two paths, right? He's gonna be a great man, but he's gonna be either a leader of men through what his father wants, which is basically through war to unite the kingdoms and lead over the land, or that he's going to be a great leader of men spiritually. And his father doesn't want that, so he keeps Siddhartha very protected, and keeps him, he wants to keep like suffering and old age and sickness away from him, so he doesn't worry about those things. But at some point, Siddhartha is out, and he sees sickness. He sees old age. He sees suffering, and it changes him. So he goes on a spiritual journey looking for answers. And one of the things he does is he does fasting, which was a thing, it still is, for some of the Buddhist monks. And he fasts until he gets down to 1 grain of rice a day. But at some point he realizes that fasting isn't quite the answer. And so he goes and he meditates for a very long time under a fig tree. And he comes to a lot of conclusions, and the main one is that basically life is, there's going to be suffering, there's going to be pain, you're going to get old, you're going to get sick, and you're going to die. And that desires are a very large part of a source of our misery, is having desires. And he says that there are good things in life, but they're transitory. They don't necessarily last. And they're kind of not just in the moment, but a set of circumstances. You can appreciate things. Don't hold on to them too much. That'll create It'll create suffering, basically, from fear of wanting to lose those things, right? And then you do things you don't want to do. You end up in a pit of despair. So, like other religions, it's basically a way to look at life and how to handle it. How to bring peace with your inner self. And I believe that, so it's it's pretty much an offshoot of Hinduism. That's what was around at the time. They're somewhat similar. I believe in Hindu, in both there's reincarnation. In Hindu, I believe it just keeps going on and on. You keep getting reborn. And then in Buddhism, there's like, you attain a certain level, you learn from these lives, and that, there's kind of a finish line. There's a reason for this stuff going on. Okay, so I'm going to try to I'm going to attempt some of the things on top, okay, while there's still wood. And first we're going to clear out some room. And I'd like to also practice this face before, so then maybe have enough wood to change it if I don't like it. Kind of want to see where things are. It has a very thin nose, and then usually the line from the nose goes up into, we have a pen, there we go. Okay, the eyebrows and the top of the brow kind of goes down, makes a small little nose, and that's kind of one continuous thing. And then he's gonna have eyes like this. His mouth is very subtle. And then there's kind of a line that goes like this outside of his face. Maybe like right here. It's kind of like all one continuous thing, and this is one thing there. So I think that what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them pretty big. Especially if they're complicated. Alright, and then basically there's a little thing like that. I'm going to bring that in just a little more. Just a little bit more. That was the wrong way. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And then, of course, we're going to have a little more body to it. But I think that works out well enough. I think we're going to be able to do that.
He created this empire, and he's like the king in his own world.
collecting more bumps and collecting more bumps and bruises and candy tonight. It seems as if she's collecting more bumps and bruises than candy to candy to candy to candy to.
Any second now. Any second now. Any second now.
Go ahead, pop it. Go ahead, pop it. Okay, I know what a lottery is. Okay, I know what a lottery is. I know what a lottery is.
Any second now. Any second. Any second now. Any second.
I like it. It's gonna take forever to finish it though. It's crazy talk. Last time we kind of did these and worked on the face. I've done it for a little bit in passes. I spent time, got most of them on the back done. So it's not as bad as I first thought. This cut right here, turning that corner, should usually be done with a lot more care and going the other direction because I just want to give us the grain. But the walnut's been pretty forgiving on those, so I just kind of slow down a little bit. Proper. Oops, a little too far. And then when these two cuts meet right here is the most important part of that swirly, is getting that so it doesn't.
I love the feeling of cool fresh water.
So we still need to clean up a lot of areas and back in here, but it's looking pretty good. I'd like to have the face a little smoother. Working on these is going to be an issue. I think that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, I'm trying to straighten his face out a little bit. But after it gets, when you're trying to get a specific shape, you can be a little difficult. And again, once that blade goes in, the wood wants it to go the path of least resistance. And usually you go with that and you make your carving work with whatever that is. But when it comes down to getting a specific shape, so we have this little divot here, and we have this stuff on the side we need to get. Ooh, that was scary. Not for me, but for the carving. Look at all this detail up here. If I was doing this whole thing again and knew what I was doing, I would definitely do those last. Alright, so I think that we are done. And I've looked over them. I could keep going over this guy for a while, forever. I keep seeing